Just took a say about a mile-and-a-half test drive, and this is what everything looks like. So before it was clean, now it's just spewing oil, and the only place it's typically going to come from is the solenoid right here. It's the vtec solenoid in the back. And one thing I would like to do, clean it. Oh gosh, look how bad it is. I cleaned all that stuff off. It's just spewing out really bad. It's the only place it's going to come from because it has oil pressure. These vtec rockers are activated through oil pressure, and once activated, it goes past a certain orifice and locks those cams. So it's not going to be a valve cover gasket because it's just so bad. The lady complaint was it's just leaving oil on the ground, and this is, again, I cleaned this area up. It's bad. What I would like to do, I'm going to clean up one more time. I wouldn't mind activating the vtec solenoid if I have that bidirectional capability, or if I just add 12 volts and see if we can literally see it coming out of here. That would be kind of cool. So what I'm gonna do, I'll pull the oil switch off first. I already have the solenoid disconnected, and I could just energize that. But just to be on the safe side, I'm not surprised that the gaskets are probably the culprit here, but the oil pressure switch could also be leaking, and it is wet inside of it. You can see there's fluid there. I just find it hard to believe that it sprays out, gets on the connector, and then runs into it. I don't know where it's leaking from. I'm gonna clean it out. If I got some more brake cleaner, and just retest, because it's so aggressive. I mean, it's a very, very bad leak. I mean, it's getting all on the side here, all in the front, and it's at the top too. So that's the top spot. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Try to emulate a running scenario. Just rev the engine up and then activate the solenoid, see what happens, see if I can get a leak. So I got my wire here connected to the solenoid. All I'm going to do is add power, and once I energize the solenoid, I'm going to increase the RPM and see where it's coming from. So it's energized right now. Increase the RPM. There you go. Pretty bad. Yeah, I didn't want to let it run too long because that's pretty bad. That is very aggressive. Like, as soon as she started driving and that vtec solenoid activate under the lowest RPM, it just starts spewing out. So the part's going to be here in about a couple hours, and I got other obligations. So more than likely, I'm gonna let the customer know. Well, I gotta let the customer know how much the total is gonna be, and I'll start working on getting that taken care of once they are in agreement of this repair, which they should be, because this is very severe and this will kill a motor. So what we're gonna do, once I get the confirmation, pull that solenoid off, change the solenoid gasket, the one to the block, and the actual solenoid gasket here at the top here. So we're gonna pull the air filter housing off and get that off, and we'll have a lot more room to work with and on a cool engine. I'll give you all part numbers when I get back, but the labor time on this is supposed to be 1.4 hours by the book. That's what the book states. More than likely you can finish this in about 45 minutes to an hour. Give me a minute, we'll be right back. So I got the air box off for the sake of clearance. Needed to get that off. Hopefully I got the camera in a pretty decent angle. I don't think I'm gonna get any better than this because of the space that I'm dealing with. So far I only use a 10 millimeter. Pulling the intake assembly off of the airbox assembly is pretty self-explanatory. It's not that hard. It was just a couple bolts. You literally can see them. So I'm just trying to see if I can get this bracket off. I don't think there's another screw down here at the bottom. So we got some hoses, bracket. I think I can leave. I can get that bracket down at the bottom too. So need a smaller extension. So I removed 2 tins. We already got the connector for the vtec solenoid. Here's this long screw here. There's another one. There's another long screw. So now I can remove the bracket for the harness. And I should only have one more screw left, and I could take this whole assembly off with the vtec solenoid. I think this is it. Yeah, and it should just pop right off. That gasket gets old and it freezes up, pairs the two together, and usually you have to pry it off. So there you go. Crack it like an egg. It should come right on up. I expect to see a little split, like a hairline fracture, and that's usually what happened. Yep. Is that? Nope. No. I thought it'll probably be down at the bottom. Maybe it was like leaking at the top there, but regardless, you can see the gasket is smashed. It's not good. Let's clean that area off at the bottom. The gasket is smashed though. I mean, it didn't take long to get that air filter assembly out, and that's the 10 millimeter deep socket. We got that out. So the only thing left is to clean everything off and rebuild this kit. I'm going to show you the part number and everything I got before I do a reversal installation. But this is it. So to disassemble this, I'm going to use a 21 for the oil pressure sensor, or 7/8 is what I got in my hand here, and that'll fit right on top of there. Knock that off, and then you got a 10 millimeter here to pull the actual solenoid off. You have to be very careful with this because you can shear the casing if it's installed improperly. Here's the other gasket. Look how flat that is. There's no protrusion. And like I said, normally what'll happen, I'll see like a hairline fracture between here. It's the valve. Just make sure that moves freely. And I'm gonna pull everything off and clean it. Let's pull this solenoid. I said solenoid. Let's pull the pressure switch off. There's a O-ring that goes on the pressure switch. Let me get a pick this old gasket off, clean it really well with some brake cleaner. And I guess it's probably not a bad idea to inspect the valve. But if there's a problem, the check engine light would come on. There's no check engine light for this. This lady does not drive her car often. The spring looks great. It's intact. It's one piece. So this is it. So I'll just leave that off to the side here. Got all my toys cleaned up. Here's the vtec housing. Gave it compressed air treatment. That's all clean. The valve cleaned up. Pressure switch. vtec solenoid. If y'all know I frequently patronize O'Reilly's Auto Parts, this is going to be the part number 917-173. This is a Dorman product. I've already opened it up. That's why it's out the plastic. I guess this is like a universal kind of kit because it came with a couple different gaskets. I'm going to need... Where's the... I guess it didn't come with the O-ring, so I'll have to get one for myself to put on there. But this is going to be the one I need. These two. I'm going to ditch this one, so it don't come with the O-ring for the pressure switch. Let me see if I can match that up. Let me just check one thing. Honestly, if this doesn't have, if it's not completely smashed, I can still reuse this. Yeah, see, I can reuse this gasket. I'm not going to worry about it. If it was flush like the other ones, then yeah, I would change it. But I'm going to reuse this one. Call it a day. Let's put this together. These are two that I'm using. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that this being the internet and y'all being some perfectionists, I wouldn't care about this. I got some sort of assembly lube, sort of. And this is just oil treatment cleaner. It's very thick and viscous. I'll just use this for the valve, so it wouldn't go in dry. It really don't matter. Normally, I've put them in dry, never had any problems. Never had any issues. Okay. And that's honestly all the oil you need. If you want to be a perfectionist and lube it up, then we'll take the gasket with the solenoid, install it. Look how that protrudes. It's not flush like the other one. We'll get the screws started, and we'll tighten them up to the best of our ability in an X pattern, because you don't want it cocked because you will damage the ear. Okay, just gonna give it a couple ugga-duggas. This needs to be snugged. That's that. Now I could take a 1/4 inch, which I will do. Just go over it again, make sure it's tight. I mean, honestly, using the impact is kind of an experience thing. It don't need to be that tight. Tighten it with a 1/4 inch, and that's perfect. Don't take much. And then we'll get this other, we'll get that last gasket on there last, the main one, get that on there last. This oil pressure switch in there. Just need to snug down. Same if you got a 1/4 inch and you can put a 21 on there, manage with the reducer, tighten it and just snug it. It don't take much. And the last part is the filter. This is going to hold in place. You do not use glue on this. It goes in as natural as possible. No sealant, no copper spray, no nothing. You just need a little protrusion. That's going to do all the work right there, because the gasket was flat, which was causing our problems. Make sure it's flush. It falls into place and it's held in by itself. It's not going anywhere. Now I can install it in reverse order. Time for installation. I'm gonna hit the mating surface to the cylinder head with some brake cleaner and hit it with a rag so I can get that area nice and dry. So we'll have a good mating surface. It's not gonna hurt anything because a little bit of brake cleaner got inside the bores. All right. The gasket's still in place. Just FYI, all these screws are the same size, so you can't screw it up. No pun intended. Let's go with this one, far side. Get that one started. The other ones. Take my driver, run these in there once I get them started. Just need to be snug. They are not to be super tight. That's it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the main stuff back into place. I probably could just leave it as it is and run the same test and see if it leaks out. As a matter of fact, that's what I'll do. We're gonna leave it right here. We're gonna start the engine up, run the same test, get the camera in the same spot and see if it leaks. I'm gonna make sure the solenoid energizes. I can hear it. All right, so I'm gonna rev it up and then I'm gonna energize it, see if it leaks out again. Energizing it right now. It's perfect. You hear the change in idle. You can tell that I'm energizing it. I'm gonna energize it right now. This is working great. I'm de-energizing it. I'm going to energize it right now. It's changing the idle. We're good. No more leak. All right, so the car is knocked out. Everything's beautiful. It's nice and clean and neat. I used about 3 cans of brake cleaner, probably like 6 in total to get most of this stuff off. I got what I could. So some of this other stuff I'll just have to bake on there. Trust me, it was a lot worse. As far as this battery thing, I don't think that positive side's supposed to go over there because when this is drape over, this is metal. I mean, this is the positive side. I mean, I don't think it's supposed to do that. Maybe the positive side is supposed to be up Like the battery need to be flipped around, and the post need to be the opposite way. Because I think AAA put the battery in wrong. I swear. Because if it flips around, the ground will be here, which will work, and then the positive side will be relaxed to be able to. The Christmas tree will sit inside that intake. I just have to put some tape or something over it to keep it from potentially shorting out. But anyway, I digress. So this is fixed. It's knocked out. No more leaks. You saw how aggressive it was, and I mean it. I'm surprised this car just didn't lock up. I mean, it's an older lady that drives this car. Luckily, she noticed the oil. She got it here, and she got it here safely. The oil level is good. It looks great, and car still runs amazingly. So I think we'll see how this stands up with the test of time. I am the one who have to maintain this car. I've been maintaining it for years, and unfortunately, this was the most extreme circumstance she ever had to deal with, as far as needing to rapidly get over here and get it redressed. So it didn't take long at all. Honestly, it took about 40 minutes. I don't know why that labor time was like 1.4 hours. It didn't take long at all. We're in good shape. So this is the 1.7 engine. It has how many miles this thing got? It has 170,000 miles on it. So, and like I said, she's an old lady. She doesn't even drive at night. So they take it easy. These are the cars I love to have, where people don't dog their cars out and they baby them, so they'll last a while. But I think we're in good shape with this. I have never had anyone come back because of like a vtec solenoid gasket. This should be lasting for several years. I don't think this is just not going to come back. I can definitely assure you. Saw the leak, addressed it, saw how flat the gasket was. Very common, simple replacement. I don't even think it's going to be a comeback, but if it do, I'll definitely update. Hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed. Had a real chance of my work. See you next one.